Hey, look, I made a little mini ballet floor in my bedroom to make tutorials on days that I can't do it in the dance studio. Today's video is how do I know if I'm ready for a pointe? Well, the number one ingredient for being in pointe is having a very strong, very high relevé, and I'm actually going to have to insist that you go and watch my proper relevé for beginners tutorial. I talk about the differences between just going on your toes and really going up all the way so you feel like you can lock your ankle in place. When you're practicing in demi-pointe, you have to get your heels as high off the floor as possible, really, like you're walking in stilettos. And it has to be comfortable for you. You have to be able to hold this position without getting tired. You should also be able to do it on one leg without any assistance, because once you're in pointe shoes, you're going to have to do a lot of things on one foot. For example, pirouettes. One leg has to hold all of your weight when you turn. To get comfortable with this, you should just walk around your house on your tippy toes, but you've got to make it feel like your instep or your metatarsals are actually popping forward, like they want to go out over in front of your toes. If you never achieve a full relevé, you'll never be strong enough to hold all your weight in your pointe shoes. The second half of my relevé video talks all about relevé in pointe shoes as well as in slippers. In addition to a strong relevé, you also need strong metatarsals, and you need to strengthen your arches. This is so you can pointe through your pointe shoe. Pointe shoes are hard. It's not as soft as a slipper. You have to be able to work through that hard shoe and still point your foot all the way. You can practice rolling through your foot or rolling through your metatarsals by using a very high resistance TheraBand. This resistance will mimic the resistance that you feel in your pointe shoes. It's basically a demi-pointe to pointe movement, and you're going to need these same muscles to push from demi-pointe to full pointe when you're in your shoes. There is a point of resistance in your shoe that you have to push through when you get from demi-pointe to pointe. You have to be very comfortable with this. You should have flexible metatarsals or a flexible instep in addition to having strong metatarsals. This flexibility will help you get over your box, so it doesn't look like you're being pulled back or held back inside your shoe. Without this flexibility on the top of your foot, it can result in something ugly called knuckling, and we definitely do not want that. You should also check your stability, because when you're doing fast movements in pointe, it sometimes feels like you have to hop into pointe, so you should be able to do this without wobbling. For example, in échappés, even though the feet slide out, you do have to kind of prop yourself up onto your shoes, and you can't let your ankles wobble or be weak. It's important to keep your ankles super straight because sickling or too much winging can injure you. This is especially important when you have to balance on one leg. You'll see a lot of this in pas de deux and promenades. You can't have a weak, wobbly ankle. And now for the hard part, you have to have money. Pointe shoes are expensive, sometimes $100 a pair. You need money for all the other accessories like the ribbons and the elastics, and the little toe pads that you use, depending on what material they're made out of. They can be pretty expensive. And you have to be ready to have ugly feet. Pointe shoes really do beat up your feet. You'll get blisters and calluses, and you'll get bruised toenails. You have to keep your toenails very short. Pedicures really don't last very long, and it varies from person to person. I'm lucky that I just have a couple of calluses and short toenails. Some people have bad luck, and pointe shoes just don't work out for them. So if all of this stuff seems okay for you and you're not scared, then I would say go for it. It's a good time to go get fitted for your first pair of pointe shoes. Just be prepared to work really hard and be patient.